Hi, my name is Kirti Moteka, and today I'll be presenting my research about the global cocoa industry for the 2023 Undergraduate Geography Symposium. The cocoa industry is plagued with a lot of child labor and deforestation, and my research has focused on the supply chain issues within this industry. I've always loved chocolate, but through the supply chain department at McCombs, I've been able to investigate the corporate malpractices, the child labor, and the deforestation that occurs within the industry, as well as the solutions for all these issues. So far, I've been able to interview a lot of researchers, chocolatiers, journalists, professors, and NGO workers around the world, and researched a lot of technological advancements in farming, pricing, and labels and certifications. Some of the next steps in my research include conducting interviews with farmers in Ghana, where a lot of the chocolate farming occurs, as well as developing my own pricing solutions and generating a price tracking model across the world for cocoa transportation. So, just to give you an overview of the global supply chain within the chocolate industry, nearly 70% of the world's cocoa supply comes from Western Africa, specifically the Ivory Coast and Ghana, while the rest comes from places like Indonesia, countries in Latin America, as well as South America. However, most of the manufacturing and consumption occurs in North America and Europe, so as you can see, it's kind of skewed in the way that it's produced as well as consumed. So, there's a lot of small scale farmers within the cocoa industry, and that's different from a lot of agricultural goods such as coffee or plantations where there's large farming that occurs. It's under one production house, but cocoa specifically, there's small scale farmers which then provide their goods to pisters, local transporters, who then provide them to cooperatives at port cities, and then the big three traders who own monopoly in global transportation and processing then take it to manufacturers and retailers who provide it to consumers. So now that you have a general idea of the various people involved in the cocoa industry, let's see how each level of the supply chain benefits from a purchase. As you can see, most of the money goes to the retailers, and that covers a lot of the advertising, utilities, etc. However, a lot of the money goes also to the manufacturers who produce from the raw material cocoa all the way to the finished goods with the exquisite chocolate bars that we're used to consuming. And only about 6% goes to the small shareholders, which is the farmers, transportation and traders, as well as the processors. And while it seems that the transportation and trade section gets a lot less than the farmers themselves, it's important to note that there's only a few big transporters, but millions of small farmers. And that's where a lot of the inequality occurs, leading to child labor and deforestation in the upstream cocoa supply chain. As a result of the poverty and economic exploitation that farmers face, there's nearly 2 million children enslaved in West African cocoa farms, and nearly 75% of the West African deforestation is a result of illegal cocoa farming. Visibility is the solution to fixing both of these issues. Slavery, poverty, and deforestation is often hidden from consumers and corporations themselves, too, due to intentionally unrecorded transactions and a lack of enforcement. So, through technology, we can enhance this visibility, such as using biomarkers to be able to track how cocoa moves across the world and exactly which farm it comes from. Blockchain transactions, being able to pay farmers via blockchain so that every transaction is held accountable for and there's no internal corruption that occurs. Using QR codes to educate consumers where they can scan a bar of chocolate and be able to tip directly to farmers or understand where their chocolate comes from, as well as educational apps that can connect these small farmers to the rest of the world and teach them about pesticide, agricultural practices, weather practices, and financial strategies for their small businesses. There's also a lot of pricing models that I've discussed, which I'll discuss at the symposium, including government intervention to raise farm gate prices and how that's occurred recently, minimum price ceilings, price increases for consumers that will trickle down to farmers, as well as direct tip payments from consumers to farmers. There's a few companies that I'd like to highlight that are leading the way that I've been able to talk to as well as learn from, including Tony's Chocolonely, Ethos Chocolate, Koa Chocolate, and Madhu Chocolate. Thank you so much for listening to the primer on my undergraduate symposium presentation. I look forward to seeing you at the Geography Symposium, and let's make an effort together to end child labor and deforestation in the chocolate industry. Please email me beforehand if you have any questions at kirti.moteka@utexas.edu. Thank you so much.